All right, so Donald Trump surrendered to authorities this week at a federal courthouse in Miami. This is one of the only glimpses that we got of the ex-president at the courthouse that day, a shadowy figure waving behind a car's tinted glass. That sad image is now how generations will remember the historic second indictment of Donald Trump, and that's because just hours before Trump's court appearance, Magistrate Judge Jonathan Goodman, who oversaw the proceeding, denied a request from a group of local and national media outlets, including NBC News, to allow cameras in the courtroom. Now, in that same order, the judge rejected the news organization's request for the release of the court's audio feed of the hearing. And since 1946, media coverage of criminal proceedings in federal courts have been largely prohibited under the federal rule of criminal procedure. But if there was ever a time to reevaluate that prohibition, it is now, because a former president and a current presidential candidate is facing 37 federal charges. Don't the American people deserve to see the trial arguing the merits of those charges play out? Renowned Harvard Law professor Laurence Tribe made that case on this show last week.
The only way the country can be satisfied that justice has been done, that the truth has been exposed, regardless of the verdict, whether it's guilty or not guilty, is to have the public watch the trial. The Chief Justice of the United States has an obligation to make an exception through the judicial conference to the usual blackouts that accompany trials.
In a new piece, which you can read right now on MSNBC.com, I laid out why I believe it is imperative the American people witness firsthand the United States of America versus Donald J. Trump. If Judge Aileen Cannon, the Trump appointee set to oversee the rest of trial, continues to follow standard procedure, the only accounts the public will hear, see, and read will be secondhand accounts from reporters, witnesses, and participants. That includes a defendant who has repeatedly demonstrated an inability to tell the truth. Since the moment Donald Trump descended down that escalator in 2015, he has put on a masterclass in manipulating the media, lying to the American public, and obfuscating the facts and circumstances around his behavior and actions. Now, as a member of the news media myself, I have confidence that those allowed inside the courtroom will try their very best to accurately document the proceedings. But the truth is simple. That is not enough, given the severity and gravity of this moment. The trial of Donald Trump is not only an unprecedented event in U.S. history, it's also a monumental test for our legal system. Right now, there is a very real possibility Donald Trump could be the Republican Party's nominee in 2024. And there's also a very real possibility that this trial could still be underway on Election Day. The American people deserve to see with their own eyes that Trump, in accordance with the law, is given a fair and just trial. They also deserve to know the judge overseeing the trial is playing by the rules and not engaging in potentially nefarious political favoritism. And the only way to ensure both and to protect our democracy in this process is to be as transparent as possible. Let the American people watch and draw their own conclusions into how this case unfolds.